Hi everyone, today I wanted to show you a video that I made, or a scrapbook page that I made using the January 2015 Scraptastic kit. Here I'm just showing you some of the pieces that came in the kit. There are some Maggie Holmes, some Teresa Collins, and also some Scraptastic exclusive pieces. And basically what I'm doing is just showing you what I might use. I'm not using all of this, but this is just kind of a selection I pulled out to make the process a little faster. And then I'm going to show you some of the papers that I used. This is from the Crate Paper collection, and then the next two pages are Scraptastic exclusive pages. That was the first time that they put them in a kit, so that's kind of a fun thing, is to have some exclusive papers that came in the kit. So next what I'm going to do is start creating my layers. So what I'm going to do here is actually mat my photo on this yellow Crate paper, and I like how it gives a separation between the photo and the rest of the pages, or the rest of the paper that I'm going to use. So here I do a real thin mat. I typically do this on my photos. I like a really thin mat between or behind the photo. And I'm going to mat it on this ampersand Scraptastic kit exclusive paper, and I'm going to mat it so that there's a little bit extra showing on the left hand side. And then what I'm going to do is lay down all of my embellishments. So here, what I like to do, because I don't like to commit and I have commitment problems, is I will lay down several of the base embellishments, and then if I like how it looks, then I'm going to take a picture of that, and then I'll take it off and start gluing it. This way I can kind of get a good idea of how I want the layers without actually having to commit immediately to them. So I really like the tags that came in the kit, especially the ones that had the gold foil embossing on them. It really gives a nice hint of that gold color. So I'm just kind of arranging everything now, so in a way that I like it. And like I said, once I get done with this first process, I will take a picture. And I'm also adding this little coral butterfly that came in the kit. I really like the dimension that it gives to the kit. It came with that one and another yellow butterfly. And I also like the circular embellishments. A lot of times when I have a very square layout, I like to add the circles. It just gives a better, I think, flow and cohesiveness to the layout. So that's why I tend to use a lot of the circular embellishments. And there's my kitty AJ. He is making an appearance. He's one of my many fur babies that I have. So I'm sure you'll see more of them in my future process videos. Here I'm just trying to lay down the tabs that came in the kit, and again, those are exclusive to Crate Paper, or I'm sorry, to Scraptastic. So here what I'm doing is I'm taking the Knotted Wood Prima chalk ink that we got in one of the Scraptastic kits and inking the edges of all of my elements just to give a cohesiveness to all of them, and I kind of like a colored edge. I think it just gives it a little extra dimension to that, so I kind of sped past, and I did ink all of the edges of everything. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to refer back to that picture that I took, and you'll see here that I'm going to show you. Took that picture, and it just allows me to then lay all of my elements down without having to remember where they all were, because I for sure do not remember where I had them, and I'll never like it as much as I did the first time. So this is really helpful, I think. I'm also going to use the Stampin' Up! Dimensionals to add a little bit of dimension to the page. I think this really helps. I like the thin pop dots as opposed to some of the really thick ones. I think when I use the really thick ones, it just gives too much bulk to my pages, and since I do a lot of 12 by 12 pages, it's going to take up a lot of room in the album, so I tend to use the thinner ones. It seems to be better in the long run. So like I said, I'm just sticking all the elements down. I'll add pop dots to this other circular Teresa Collins die cut that came in the kit, and then after that, I'm going to start sticking these tabs down. These are Scraptastic exclusives that came in the kit. They're just a cut apart sheet, and this time they actually had perforations on the edges, so that was kind of a neat look. Gave a little bit of extra texture to the layout. After I get these tabs all stuck down, I'm going to ink up that little element in the top left, and I'm going to try to figure out some other things to put there. I've tried a couple different things and it didn't quite work, so I'm going to move on to something else. So here I'm going to put down that coral butterfly that I was talking about earlier. I'm going to use my Scotch quick dry adhesive, and that bottle always clogs up, and it's running low, and it seems like the lower it gets, the more it clogs. So I just use a pin to open that up. And then I'm going to add more of those pop dots to the butterfly wings to keep them up from falling too much down on the page. So I'm going to do that real quick and just make sure those are sticking up, and add a little more glue to the die cut below so it sticks to the page a little better. And again, it clogged up again. So I think everybody seems to be having those kind of issues. Next, I'm going to get out my twine and try to decide which color I want to use. And because I have black in those die cuts, I am going to choose the black and white twine. And I just doubled that twine up to give a little bit more thickness to the twine. And then I'm going to trim it off. And then later on, I'm actually going to use that same twine on the little vellum tag. And I wanted to really use these wood veneers, but I found that the cork gave a better look to it. I thought the wood veneer was just too heavy or bulky. It just didn't give the right look. And I love cork. I love the color and the texture that it brings. So here I added the cork in about 3 different places throughout the layout. And I'm trying to add that little die cut piece, but that's not going to work. And neither is this other True Heart or True Love wood veneer. So I'm going to move on. And then I'm going to play with these the vellum pieces for quite a while. I'm trying to figure out, can it tuck here? Can it tuck there? No, that's not going to work. What I end up doing is just using that together, and that's in the bottom right-hand corner, and then the everyday in the end. So that's kind of what you're going to end up seeing a little bit later on. I'm going to end up stopping playing with these and then move on and try to get them later since I can't quite figure out what I want to do. So next I'm going to move on. I am going to end up adding these little embellishments, but you're going to see that in the next part in the pictures. I end up doing that a little bit later in the layout. And here I kind of felt like the embellishments are kind of falling off the edge, so I end up taking the back of that ampersand paper and adding it a little bit over to the right hand side under the embellishments, and I think it brings the embellishments out a little bit more and gives them kind of a shelf to lay on. And so I'm just going to ink up those pieces as well, and then add one to the right hand side where the embellishments are, and then I'm going to add a little sliver to the left hand side just to even it out. I felt like we needed a little bit more on that end. And I'm just using my ATG for most of this stuff. I do use a little bit of the Scotch Quick Dry, but mostly I use my ATG gun. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of this twine on the left-hand side to kind of balance out the twine that I have on the right in the tags. And here you're going to see my daughter in the bottom right-hand corner. She also wanted to get in on the video making, so she's looking at the different little embellishments. And then in a couple of minutes here, she's going to wave to the camera. I think it might be a little hard to see because of it being sped up, but she does want to participate. So she's there watching me make my video in the layout, and you can just see she really likes that butterfly with the little fuzzy body on it. So I'm just going to continue on adding some embellishments here and there. I really like this craft and gold paper tape. I believe it's from the Maggie Holmes Crepe Paper Collection, and I've had it in my stash for a while, and I love it. I use it all the time. I use it on my December daily. And I just love the gold color that it has and the contrast between the gold and the craft. So I'm just going to stick it in here and there to add extra color, since I do have gold in a lot of the different die cuts and shapes and such. So now I'm just finishing off that top left embellishment cluster. I added that same tape and I put a little fishtail in the end of it, and then I'm just going to add that circle with the little star cork piece and then trim it off. And that extra piece I'm going to tuck in on the right hand side just because I don't like throwing things away, and I figured I'd just use it since it fit in. And then next I'm just going to add a little bit more of that tape. I'm going to end up cutting that tape in half so I can fit it in because of the glue, and just add a little bit more pop of color in that left hand side. Next, you're going to see that I'm going to use 2 alphabets, the Jelly Bean Soup alphabet that came in the kit, and then this Dear Lizzie thicker that came in the kit to make my title, and my title is Newest Fur Baby. This is a picture of my daughter and our new kitten Denali. So I'm going to add that title in, and here you can see that I finally decided on the together and the everyday vellum words. I learned a great tip from one of other YouTubers that I watch. I think her name is Jen Shao. I can't remember. I apologize. I'm probably butchering her name, but she had a really great idea using the Xyron sticker maker to add adhesive to the back of these, and it works perfectly. You don't see any of the adhesive, and it lays it down very nicely. It's awesome. I'm so glad she had that idea. I've had that Xyron in my collection for a really long time, but I never thought about using it for this vellum. I use the permanent sticker maker things, the Xyron things, and I think that works the best because it doesn't leave a lot of the webbing that the temporary adhesive used to leave. So I really, really like the permanent one. So I use that in my sticker maker. And so here I'm just adding on the title, and I'm using a little bit of glue to make sure my thickers stick. And then here is going to be some close-ups of the layout. And then there's going to be some pictures to follow. I just want to say thank you very much for all the people that have subscribed to my channel so far. I am really enjoying this so far. I know I haven't put many things up, but this is a really fun process. So if you liked everything, if you have any comments or suggestions, leave them below. Otherwise, if you could thumb up this video, I'd really, really appreciate it. Thank you and have a great day. Bye-bye.